Okay, so I'm going to go through and kind of explain how to work your way through a digital inquiry. This one is titled, How Does Matter Change? And we've been learning a lot about matter, so this is going to talk about how matter changes. It's basically just a matter of reading through it and following the instructions. There are some videos, there are some different articles that you read, there are some simulations, but I just want to make sure that you follow the instructions and know what to do. Okay, so you'll open it up and it says Digital Inquiry, How Does Matter Change? And that's the question that we're trying to answer, is how matter changes. It says, ask. We will use multiple sources to learn how matter changes. The sources are interactive text, informational text, video, simulation, and article. As you collect information from each source, be sure to record the information in the table on page 7. This information will answer the question, and the question is, how does matter change? So that's what we're trying to find out. So each one of these slides has a different one of these sources on it, just in the order that they're listed here. We have interactive text, then an informational text, then a video, then a simulation, then an article. Okay, after you read each one, or maybe even before you read each one, you need to go down to slide 7. Slide 7 says, as you complete, it's collecting information, as you complete the task on each slide, explain what you learned about matter and how matter changes. So we have our source and we have our question, how does matter change state? So the very first source is a text and it's titled Changing States, and there are 2 questions here we're going to have to answer from that text. One is, how do solids, liquids, and gases change from one state to another? And you'll just click next to the question and it'll bring your cursor there, and then it'll let you type beside it to answer, how do solids, liquids, and gases change from one state to another? And then the second question from that article is, what makes water a simple type of matter to work with here on Earth? What makes water a simple type of matter to work with here on Earth? So after you've looked at slide 7 for that article, let's go ahead and go back up. It's going to be the second slide. And it says, read. As you read the text, think about how matter changes from one state to another. Click the link to read the text. So you'll click the link, and then it brings it up below. Mine brings it up below the link where you have to click right there. I think yours does the same thing. It should look the same as mine right now. Okay, so then it takes you to that page, and it's titled Changing States. So you'll read the article. Okay, and then it has this really cool interactive diagram over here where you can kind of click on each thing. Whenever you pull your cursor over it, it highlights it. So you can click on it and then read that information. Okay, and when you feel like you've read everything, or when you have read everything and you understand it, then you can go back to your digital inquiry and down to slide 7 and answer these 2 questions. How do solids, liquids, and gases change from one state to another? So you'll answer that. And what makes water a simple type of matter to work with here on Earth? Okay, now if you don't think you can quite answer those, then go back to the article and read it again. It's no big deal. Okay, just go back, reread it until you can answer those questions. Okay, once you've answered both of those questions on slide 7 for changing states, then you'll go to the next article or next source, and it's an informational text called Changing States of Matter. And it is a good idea to look over slide 7 before you read the text, just so you know what information you need to focus on whenever you're reading the text or watching the video or looking at the diagram or the simulation or whatever. It'll help you zero in on that information. So for our next one, it's, how do the elements compare to one another in terms of changing states of matter? And what type of energy is necessary for each element to change states or phases? So if we go back, let's see, to slide 3, it has the text is Changing States of Matter, which you can see that on slide 7 right over here where it says Source, Informational Text, Changing States of Matter, so you know where you're getting your information from, which source you're looking at. And you'll read this information. You can have someone read it to you if you need that at home. And then you'll answer these 2 questions, okay? And after you've answered those 2 questions, then you can read the next questions, which are over the video Mystery Mud. How does the mystery mud become solid without thermal energy, and what property of the matter makes it different from other types of matter? And then you'll go back to this slide So video, mystery med, and they do go in order, and they're in the same order as the questions, you know, starting with the introduction. Here's your first source, your second source, your third source, your mystery med. You'll click on this. It'll take you to that video. You watch the video, it's 7 minutes long, and you answer those 2 questions. If you need to watch it more than once, then that's fine. You know, I think you can get the information after once, but if you need to watch it again, you can. And again, don't forget to answer those questions on slide 7. Okay, and again, you just put your cursor in that box, click on it next to the question, and then type your answer, okay? And then after you've worked through those sources, the next one is a simulation. The simulation is right here. You click, it takes you to it. It's got a pause, it's got a play button, and you can kind of see what's happening here. You can start it over again. And as you watch it, then you go back and answer your question on slide 7. It asks, how does temperature affect the energy of the particles? Okay, so then you answer that. And then the last one is melting gold, and you're going to read this article, and then you'll answer the 2 questions about that. And then the last slide, after you've worked your way through all of these articles and simulations and videos, and you filled in all of the questions on slide 7, or you've answered all the questions on slide 7, on slide 8, it is fill in the blank, okay? And basically, this is integrating the information. So you're pulling all that information that you just learned from those multiple sources. In fact, it says it in the instructions. It says use the information collected from multiple sources to thoroughly explain how matter changes from one state to another. Okay, so we're talking about matter changing from solid, liquid to gas. Okay, and you'll just use these words at the bottom. They're drag and drop, you know, so you just click on it, drag it, and drop it, which that's not the right answer to that, but you get the point. Blank is anything that has mass and takes up space. Well, we all know that that is matter, so I'll help you with the first one. You're going to fill that one in, drag it and drop it there. There are 3 blank, solid, liquid, and gas. I'm not going to do any more of them for you, but you use these words. If you can't figure out one, skip it and come back to it, because at the end you'll have one left, and that's where that goes. Or maybe you'll have a couple left you weren't sure about, and you can usually figure it out from there. Okay, so I'm going to pull matter back down here. Once you get all this done, you'll make sure that you submit this or turn this back in to me through Google Classroom so that I can grade it and make sure that you're getting this information. Okay, well, y'all have a great day. If you need any help with anything, or you don't understand still, or something's not working correctly or whatever, please give me an email. That's the best way to get a hold of me throughout the day, and I'll return your email as soon as I possibly can. Okay, y'all have a great day.